From the poverty-stricken lands of mid-20th century Mexico, a dark symphony of crime and power began to unfold. I, Delfina Gonzalez Venezuela, along with my 3 sisters, rose from the ashes, becoming leaders of the local sex trade and Mexico's most notorious serial killers. Our names, whispered in fear and awe, will forever dance with the devils of the nation's darkest tales. Our story begins with our father, an abusive and violent policeman, worn down by life's adversities. He often took pleasure in making us watch the executions of prisoners and regularly beat his family. Our mother, lost to fanatical religious beliefs, was a silent, enduring figure, her spirit broken by the combined weight of poverty and a loveless marriage. We grew up in great hardship, where education and opportunities were luxuries beyond our reach. Our learning was not formal education, but lessons in survival, and it was in this environment where the seeds of our future malice were sown. This neglect and violence molded us into the notorious figures we would later become known as Las Boquianchis. In the late 1950s, the silent streets of Guanajuato became the stage for our rise into the world of prostitution. My sisters and I, armed with our dead parents' inheritance, ventured into a world that was as foreign as it was dangerous. Although opening a brothel was illegal, we bribed local officials with money and the promise of free sexual services with our girls. As our network of brothels grew, so did our demand for young girls to work there. We lured them in with promises of stable employment and a life away from the clutches of poverty, and they walked willingly into our web. However, we were not their saviors, but their jailers, and their dreams crushed into an unending nightmare of captivity. Though appearing ordinary from the exterior, our brothels concealed within their walls a sinister world. To maintain discipline, we regularly beat and tortured the girls. When they became too old at the age of 25 and no longer useful, we had our protector, a former army captain, kill and bury them within the grounds of the brothel. Of course, we never let the girls venture outside the brothel, and if they became pregnant, we would perform abortions on them. Between 1955 and 1964, our dark reign grew further. We developed a method of kidnapping with our security guards where we would visit nearby towns looking for the prettiest girls. It didn't matter if they were 12, 13, 14 years old. If we saw girls alone, our guards would simply throw them in the back of a truck. Or if they were accompanied by their parents, generally peasants, we would approach them and offer to give their daughters work as servants. The parents usually agreed. We took the girls, and their torment began immediately. We would then prepare them by allowing our guards to violate them repeatedly. And if they cried or resisted, they were beaten, and the ones that resisted most were killed. Once the girls were ready, we dressed them nicely and took them out at night to begin serving the customers in the bars that were part of our brothels. The customers were always pleased to find girls of such a young age, so business was always profitable. The local police and officials turned a blind eye to our activities. Bribes, threats, and manipulation were our currencies, and with them, we purchased their silence and complicity. In 1964, our dark empire, built on silent screams and shattered souls, faced its unexpected demise. One of our new girls managed to escape and alert the authorities at the town's police headquarters. Mexico, previously oblivious to our crimes, would soon wake up to one of the most sinister and cruel chapters in its history. The authorities, compelled by the weight of the revelation, initiated a raid on the brothels. They unearthed the chilling evidence of our reign, the inhumane conditions, girls confined and in abused states, and the remains of those whose lives were extinguished in shallow graves. The trial was swift, and the revelations horrifying. The courtroom bore witness to our cruelty, and once the newspapers and journalists ran our story, not just Mexico, but the whole of Latin America became aware of our evil deeds. months, we were charged and eventually convicted for the enslavement, forced prostitution, and murder of over 150 young women. We were sentenced to a maximum of 40 years imprisonment, each sister suffering a different fate, but only 2 of us dying behind bars.